All right, you're making progress and now you're ready for the closing. Let's talk about the closing, how you prepare for it, what you should expect, and what you do afterwards, okay? First things first, before you ever go to closing, always do a final walkthrough of the property. Just do it, okay? I know it sounds crazy to even have to mention that, but believe it or not, a lot of people buy properties sight unseen. Nobody goes by, looks at the property, and Lord help you based on what you actually get at the end of the day. Perfect example, one time I got really busy. I was doing 17 properties at once, different stages of rehab and advertising and all this, a lot going on. And I was buying another property, and I got in a jam. I thought, you know what? I know the area, I know the property, I don't need to go by there. I've already seen it. The closing was electronic. In other words, it was not a physical closing. Everything was done through the internet, which is mostly what we do anyways. And so the next day I go to meet the contractor there, give him the keys and so forth. And lo and behold, one of the largest trees I've ever seen had fallen from my yard, by the way, that I now owned in my backyard, fell across two other yards, smashing swing sets, dog houses, and fences. And guess who got to pay for all that? Exactly, me. And guess what else? The insurance company fought about it because they said it looked like to them the tree had fallen prior to closing, which was prior to my ownership and prior to my insurance policy kicking in, which was true. Had I gone by the property, I would have noticed that, could have put a stop to the closing, and got a credit for the removal of that tree from the bank that I bought the house for. So another student, by the way, not one of my students, another colleague, bought a property, didn't go to the closing, went by a week later, brought a spouse and a contractor, and he's like, well, where is this property? I don't see it anymore. It was now a vacant lot that had already been raised. The property had been burnt down, had been raised, the foundation filled in with dirt, grass seed planted, and he was now the proud owner of a vacant lot. And he paid a lot more money for that lot because prior to that, of course, it had a house on it. Always do the walkthrough, okay? Now, ahead of time, you want to make sure utilities have been transferred into your name, gas, electric, water, sewage, to take effect the day of the closing, okay? Or day after, depending on where you are. Always make sure of that. Make sure your property insurance is in place. As soon as you get a property in a contract, you should call your property insurance company. Literally, don't wait till the week before closing. Nowadays, you got to let them know well in advance. As soon as you get a property in a contract, let the insurance guy know that. Make sure your property insurance is in place, taking effect the day of the closing. Okay. You know, anything else that needs to be, you're basically, if you're getting a loan, your lender is going to be tied in with the closing officer anyways. All right. Now, when you get to the closing, before you go there, you want to get a copy of the settlement sheet before closing. You want to review that ahead of time to make sure everything is accounted for. And by the way, you should also get what's called the commitment of title. You're going to buy title insurance on the property. I've had people say they don't buy title insurance because, you know, it's a rental property, blah, blah, blah. Don't ever do that. Always get title insurance, okay? Make sure that's in place. So that'll come from the closing company, by the way, okay? So now you get everything you need to purchase the property. As soon as you leave the closing, make sure you go buy the property, make sure it's secured and all that, and then meet your contractor there. But essentially at the closing, those are the things you need to look into and take care of, all right? In any case, the next subject is how do we work with contractors? A very sensitive, touchy subject, probably one of the toughest parts of our business. So look for that video. We'll see you next time. Take care, and God bless.